Sorry for the non-updates. I just couldn't find a place that was quiet. I mean, it's a giant arcade, so it's kind of expected, but nobody really... I just didn't have a chance to sit down, and I couldn't find a lot of quiet spots when I could. So, let's continue. The setup was pretty cool, you know, just usual setup. I've already shown this in the video, but I want to show you. This is what the empty room looks like. This is what it looked like when I arrived. Just this big empty room. And I was like, okay. And what was really cool is a bunch of the stuff I was gonna set up was already there, so I was just like, it's here. I'm good. I like the way it's set up.
Why, thank you.
And they were already getting stuff in because they knew most of what it was gonna be. And they were already measuring out where everything was gonna be, and you know, just big empty room. That guy was telling me that the people who work here love having us here because, you know, it's a nice arcade and we treat everybody really nice. And I was really shocked when I saw a bunch of circuits just in a box. I don't go into the central area very often, so I didn't know they had them, but that makes sense that they would. And there's just tons of construction going on all around us. It's like something happened and it destroyed everything, and now they're rebuilding. It's kind of weird, but understandable. I think this is going to be more parking for people attending the shows. And slowly but surely, games started to arrive. You know, that's just a single row. Here, watch this. Kind of this empty space, and then, you know, there's some games. And I don't know why I was whistling, but I was. And just, that's it. Just look. Nothing else. It looks like an arcade for just that little area, but it really isn't. And then trucks arrived, we'd get in, we'd start moving them, and we would place them on the dock, and then somebody would go in and place them on the in the floor. And, you know, once more construction. This is pretty much the presentation area without really trying anything here. And we did move things around a bit. Some TVs were placed and the stairs were moved. I got to help put together this brand new, straight out of the box Houdini pinball. And it was really annoying because everything for it was a different type of setup than any of the regular setups. So this hex key, Allen wrench, was used, it was found in the box luckily, but it's what's used to tighten the bolts on the legs for the Houdini. And this was a map as best they could tell, but the reality was they kept changing it around. So I once tried to help some folks out, and it turns out the guy in the red shirt was like, hey, we changed everything. So here's another shot. Just more stuff arrived, and we started to add to it. You know, we started to make it feel more like an arcade. And then we're just like... just a slowly opening space. And here's another angle. Oh yeah. Turns out I hit record on accident. And I thought I'd remember it, but I didn't. That doesn't look like much to you. And here's all the racing games. By the way, I just played all of them today, and what's really interesting is everything in that row has been moved and rearranged so that, you know, things would fit better. And we just got together and started assembling pinball tables because, you know, the trucks were arriving at a regular rate, and we could just kind of get things together, and then the next truck would arrive and we'd move in and, you know, get stuff moved out. The big ball pong, by the way, is a really fun game, and whenever I get a chance, I'm just like, oh, I'm going to play ball pong. And it's exactly what it looks like. It's a beer pong game where, you know, you've got the cups, you got everything, you just need to set it all up. And it's got multiple games and little lights, and it's actually a really fun game. And sure enough, if you start looking, the room starts to fill. There we go. The water was really nice. Helped us all out. And, you know, that's pretty much what my day was like. You know, just slowly moving things in. The guy in the red shirt was new, and the girl with green hair, she's just paid to set everything up and to kind of show stuff off, and she actually knew how to assemble stuff. But the Marcos people didn't show up until the Marcos packages didn't arrive until much, much later. But this is pretty much, I helped assemble a lot of these machines. Not all of them, there was a good team there. And we just kept on going, and look, see these curtains? They weren't there previously. But we didn't have any of the tables set up for any of the vendors, or really know where the vendors were going. Whereas, the area for Kids Zone, we know it so well. We're just like, yeah, this is good.
Happy Jew.
The machine says Happy Jeep, but the pronunciation of it forgets the P, so it sounds like Happy Jew. Happy Jew. So I thought it was Happy Jew for the longest time until I listened to it more carefully. And over there, that's the Fast Pinball or Nitro folks. I can't remember which one. And I moved all the stuff. There's the Houdini I assembled. And one vendor showed up. Or two vendors, actually, now that I look. People asked, oh, can you post more videos? Well, here you go, more videos. Just the room filling up. And the area that I'm standing in is the Marcos area. So yeah, machines would show up, and we'd start assembling, and for the beginners, I tell them to just put the legs on and, get what you could put together, and then just leave it for the people who know what they're doing. And that actually helped everybody out as best they could. Arcades are really easy to set up because you just put them down and plug them in for the most part. Skull and crossbones. And I just quickly moved. One of the problems we had is that we didn't have enough hand trucks for this time, so they'd be unloaded onto the dock, but we couldn't really get them to places. And that plastic wrap I had to tear by hand, which was annoying. But we were looking for, like, okay, what is the best place for this? What is the best place for this? What is the best feel for this? And we put things in kind of areas that were like, okay, this area is this area is this. And snacks started to be served at that time. And I just want to point out the red shirt is the guy in charge of kind of telling vendors where stuff goes or saying where stuff should be. And that was his job. Oh, look at the dog. Look at the dog. Ah. And every time, we had more machines come in, I took a shot. So you can just slowly watch the machine opening up. And that guy used a knife to open the plastic wrap, but some of it had to be torn up by hand because we didn't have anything. And here we go. And that's the reason why I like those hand trucks. You can just get them settled and they're nice and even. Getting into the truck and out of the truck is hard, but walking them to their spot, it is so nice. And that's what we did, or that's the entire dock crew was doing that all day. Was just going into the truck, moving everything, and then, another crew would go in and take everything into the floor. And we didn't know where everything needed to be. Everything has its own special order and stuff. So we were very careful. I especially liked this angle because those machines are at least 70 years old. Serious. Some of those machines don't have flippers on them yet because they were so early. And then the Marcos machines arrived, and they came in their boxes. They're that new. So the Marcos people were like, we're going to sell all of these, because at the end of the show, we're going to have everything needed. Meanwhile, we're moving other used machines all around to where they needed to be. And as you can watch, we placed them, we had to unwrap them, then we had to put on the legs, and then we had to put on the head thing on it. Then we had to put on pinballs, and yeah. This is all one day that you're watching, just a slow process. As things arrive, we just kind of move them in, and we just go, okay, this is for this is for this. We're putting this in this area, but the people who are experts are going to start placing things as they need, and that's kind of what we did. And the Marcos people just started assembling as fast as they could. Meanwhile, we already had like 200-300 machines already set up with about 150 more to go. The final count turned out to be 460 something, between 455 and 470, something like that. And
see, the fun part about a machine like that is underneath looks cooler than the outside, which is good because you're going to see it a lot.
It's true. It's very true.
We have an arcade. It's pretty much there. Well, okay, that part.
And by the time everything was pretty much set up, by about 6 o'clock, pizza arrived, and we just started eating, which gave everybody the opportunity to just kind of stand there and chat and talk about what they saw and what they wanted to play and how they wanted to play. And it gave us an opportunity to kind of check out the games.
Oh, sorry.
Test out the games. Testing meaning, play them, see if they work, see how they work. And, all those boxes. And for the most part, the arcade, the video arcade side was assembled. It was the older pins that needed to be assembled, and that was a very kind of specialized crew. You couldn't just go in and do it. In fact, the order was entirely by the guy who, an entire row was just one guy's stuff, and he had it in a specific order. I don't know what that order was, and here we have the dock pretty much empty. Machines were still, trucks were still arriving, but they weren't coming in as fast. In fact, we had 2 or 3 left by that point. And by this point, we were just like, okay, what's the next machine?
Boss is weird. We should all make fun of him.
Somebody mentioned my name. And this guy, if you watch this video again very carefully, this guy. The guy looking at the camera and the guy in the red shirt built this game. One moment. Built this game, and it's purely mechanical, and it's entirely made out of Legos, which was really cool. Watch this.
What's this?
Yeah, see? You press a button, every single thing is like rubber bands.
Everything is mechanical. There is not a single bit of electric to this.
Yep.
And it is a pinball table made out of Legos.
They added parts so that it was a lot flatter and stuff, and they also had some lights light up, but those lights were they were on all the time anyway. And pretty soon, we had an arcade. And there wasn't a lot needed to be done after that. I just walked around, I took pictures of what I could, and, just a lot of standing around. Actually, this entire wall is going to be filled by the end of that day. And here is an above the head shot of an entire arcade, 450 games, all prepped, ready to be played. And I was just like, okay, yeah. And trucks continued to come in. People continued to bring games in.
Turn around.
And pretty soon the dock was empty.
Showing that. Wow, that looks remarkably like mine. Wow.
So what are you doing tonight?
Well, I mean,
You're open to go up there. They're cool with it.
yeah, I'm cool with it. Not yet.
There's parking. There's plenty.
And that was the dock. It was completely empty and all the trucks were parked. Inside, people were still assembling machines and placing them, but that was a very specific section, whereas everything else was ready and actually being played by various staff.
Sure. It's just, got spikes on the end of it.
The railing does?
Yeah.
Oh, bird spike.
Yep.
So I don't think I'm really gonna worry about it. I'm enough to. Oh yeah, never mind. That makes sense.
That's Tacoma at night. I believe it was 11 o'clock. And I decided to just take pictures right before I headed out. Oh, that's a terrible shot. Watch this. He's degaussing the screen. That means he's trying to make it all one color. And he was making progress. Like the blue side, it was blue when we saw it. Was actually really growing onto it.
What's it supposed to be? Oh.
Downside by having a steel frame.
Yeah, and that guy really knows what he's doing. He's one of the head medics. He and Doc are probably the most experienced of the group. And pretty soon I was just like, well, I'm done. There isn't a lot more I can do, and the stuff that does need to be done has kind of a special crew for it. So as much as I want to play those games, they're going to have to just kind of sit there unassembled because they're from the 1930s, not a joke. And I just walked around and I took one final shot. I was like, I want to show you this. Remember that empty room? This is the empty room now. It's full. And we moved every single game there in. And it was entirely by a crew of 20, 30 people. They were just dedicated to it and ready to do what they could. So that is the process. That is changing an empty room into a full room. And it takes a lot of people, it takes a lot of thought and work and planning. And it just amazes me to just watch the room fill up. And just thinking about every single step that they had to take to do this. And every time I look at it, I'm just like, wow, I was a part of this because I love what I'm looking at, and it's just so cool that we get to have such an amazing thing in front of us. You just go, oh, yeah, these games, oh, I love this game, oh, man, it's like Christmas, and you're opening up presents, and you're just like, oh, can't wait to play this one, like that Neo Geo to the left. I played every game on it, by the way. It only took me Friday. And yeah, it's just beautiful, beautiful games from all sorts of eras and all sorts of times and places and things. And we were just like, okay, yeah, we've done it. And, there were still machines arriving even after I had left. But I wanted to show you one special one just because it's insane. In fact, here, watch this. Yes, that's a cue ball. That's a pool ball. Watch it hit on that thing. I don't even remember those symbols. Yeah, it just feels like giant swinging clubs when you're playing the game. Just everything is massive. There's another shot of Tacoma at night, and there's all the hand trucks that we had, and they were so useful. They really were, but some of them were in trucks. So when we started, we had like 3. And by the end of the night, we had 6, which was really cool. And I went to bed in this wonderful place. I quickly arranged, a friend of mine arranged another place for me to stay, which was a lot closer. So I'm going back to Bremerton Sunday night, very likely. And that night I'm just going to stay in Bremerton, and I'm going to spend the next 2 days asleep, basically. And the next week I'm going to be ready for Surge. So that was set up, and I'm going to make the video for everything soon for Friday. So let's get ready for that. Bye now.